We've booked business class on the Northeast Regional to Philly and Acela on the way back. The question is, was the upgrade worth it? Let's find out. At the time we booked, Northeast Regional Business Class came in at around $340, while Acela was $390. Both include reserved seating, Wi-Fi, and access to the cafe car. Now, we did not pay for lounge access on the way to Philly, and honestly, for a shorter wait, the public waiting room was perfectly fine. It was bright, clean, with plenty of seating overall. That said, it could definitely get crowded quickly, and there were moments where people were circling around looking for seats. So for a longer wait, I do think lounge access starts to make more sense. Now, one thing we absolutely appreciate when traveling as a family is that at Moynahan Station, the agents were actively looking for families with children and moving them toward the front of the line for boarding, which is one less thing to stress about. And honestly, once we got settled in, this felt like a pretty relaxed way to travel. Plenty of room for our bags, comfortable seating, and a lot less stressful than dealing with the airport experience. Okay, so we are on the Northeast Regional business class to Philly, and just want to give you a look at the train and the setup. It is more leg room than you could possibly get in an airline unless you are really flying in business class or premium class. Just to show you what you get here, you have a tray table that does come out closer towards you, all the way up to your belly. You have a footrest as well. You have curtained windows over here, and we happen to be sitting in an emergency exit. And then over here you have outlets so that you can go ahead and plug in using a real plug, so make sure that you bring that with you. And in general, you just have a whole bunch of space. You can see how much legroom Paul has over there. Plenty of room to stretch out. Now, the other really good thing about the Regional Express business class is that you do have, much like an airline, you have plenty of space above you for your luggage. There's also some racks on the way in. The thing to know about business class is that there is assigned seating. It's a bit of a quiet car. And just above the seat, you have a control for the lighting. So we have arrived in Philly right off of the Northeast Regional 103 today. We were in business class and we are headed into the station. Now this, I believe, is one of those beautiful stations that they did not tear down. Wow. Look at this.
Something tells me it's under construction.
Yeah, it's just a little under construction, but you can see how beautiful it is. Taxis are this way. And just something to keep in mind. At the time of filming, there was ongoing construction happening around the 30th Street station, so I definitely recommend giving yourself a little extra time navigating the area, particularly when departing Philly. This is how we used to get taxis. So my little guy's like, oh, are we going to trust these? Because it's not Uber, right? But this is how we used to get in taxis. We used to line up and wait for a taxi. It's a thing that used to happen. Now at this point, the Northeast Regional Business Class honestly felt like a pretty strong value. But for the trip back, we're trying Acela, Amtrak's premium high-speed service, and from the station experience alone, this already started to feel a little different. One thing that still surprises us given the pricing on Acela is that the lounge access isn't automatically included. At the time of filming, lounge access at Moynihan Train Hall was available separately for around $50 per person, and at the 30th Street station in Philly, the pricing was around $35, while complimentary access was reserved for things like Acela First Class and certain elite travelers. And if you want a full look at the Metropolitan Lounge at Moynahan, we actually have a separate full tour linked for you above and below. For our return trip to New York, we decided to pay for the lounge. Now, the lounge itself isn't huge, but it definitely created a calmer experience. All right, welcome to the Metropolitan Lounge here at the Philadelphia 30th Street station. It is very different than the Metropolitan Lounge in New York City. The interesting thing is that they do have elevators that will take you directly down to the tracks. The person who's running the front desk will call the train and then take you to the nearest elevator, so that's convenient. And from the lounge here, you can see the larger waiting area downstairs. So it's more long rather than large. There's a really small setup here. You have coffee, you have water, there are refrigerated soft drinks, and then you have some fruit, and then just some basic snacks to tide you over while you wait. So here are some things that we learned about the Metropolitan Lounge that we're sitting in here at the 30th Street station here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. This building, this station, is historically landmarked. They are in the process of renovating the entire space. We were talking to the nice lady up front. She said they started their renovations back in 2014 and they are still going. They did the outside first, now they're working on the inside, and part of that renovation will be a renovation to this lounge. So by the end of 2028 is what the latest information is, there should be a brand new Metropolitan Lounge here, which will make that really fascinating. The thing that we love, and I pointed this out earlier, is that there are elevators that will take you straight down to your boarding track, so no need to like scurry down the stairs and try and figure out which gate you're leaving from or which track you're leaving from. The person who's working the front desk will call the train when it's time and take you over to the elevator and send you straight down. So that is a bonus for sure. So the other thing I wanted to mention is I showed you earlier the snack area or the food area for this particular lounge. It is not fancy at all. Do not come here expecting a meal. Come here expecting a snack. And a snack that you can grab and go, a snack while you're sitting here. There's no limits on what you can eat, but just don't expect it to be elaborate, unlike what we saw at the Metropolitan Lounge. For a full review of the Metropolitan Lounge, I will link that video for you below just so that you can see what that's like. Truly spectacular and to be expected. As they rebuilt that entire space, they built an amazing lounge to go with it. So just don't come here expecting a lot, except you don't have to sit out there. It's quieter. It's just a nicer wait for your train to be in the Metropolitan Lounge, and only $35. Okay, so we have been let out onto the track, or track 4. This turned out to be one of Amtrak's newer Acela train sets, which is still being rolled out across the fleet. So this is different than I expected. This is definitely much upgraded from when we took the Acela to Boston a couple of years ago. Everything looks newer, plusher. I'm impressed. So the tray folds out like that. There are lights at the seat here, and you have charging capabilities right here at your seat. There's USB outlets right here as well. And now instead of curtains, they have shades at the window. You can also connect to the Amtrak Wi-Fi. They got digital screens in here. So, is Acela worth the upgrade? After doing both back to back, I actually think the answer depends less on the train itself and more on the type of trip you're taking. The Northeast Regional Business Class train was honestly perfectly fine. Comfortable seating, less stress than flying, and for families or more value-focused travelers, especially if you want more flexibility in departure times, I think it worked really well. But in our case, with about a $50 price difference between the two experiences, I'd probably lean toward Acela if the timing worked, particularly because it gets us where we're going faster. And getting one of the new Acela train sets definitely elevated the experience as well. Even though at the time of recording, you can't guarantee you'll get one of the newer trains since they're still continuing to roll them out. And at the same time, I think it's good to know that if you do choose the Northeast Regional Business Class seat, you're still getting a perfectly reasonable, upgraded, and comfortable experience. So now I want to hear from you. Would you pay extra for Acela, or would you stick with the Northeast Regional Business Class? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy transportation reviews like this one, we also have additional Amtrak adventures here on the channel, including our auto train review, and more coming soon as part of our Getting There series. Thank you so much for watching, and no matter where your next adventure takes you, we hope that you enjoy the journey. Bye now.